Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Mainstream Indie Music channel. I do apologize for being a few days late. Like I had mentioned in the shorts for the last couple of days, I was actually out of state for the past couple of days, really, which is normally when I upload an episode. And then this week might get a little weird as well because, ironically, I'm going back out of state again at the end of this week. So this month for me has just been crazy, crazy busy. But I do want to make sure to get you guys new episodes. So I am releasing this one now, and hopefully the next one doesn't get delayed. But long story short, don't be surprised if it is. But anyway, if you are new here, welcome to the channel. We talk about all things indie music, and this week's episode is going to be a little different because from time to time, we like to just touch on what's happening in the music scene around us in general. And there's been a lot of things that have come up in just the past week and a half, 2 weeks or so that I wanted to touch up on. One of them is the 2025 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees, because a few of the bands we have already touched on this channel, so I thought I would go over that. And then the end of this episode is almost going to slide into this next week's episode, I should say, about the rise of artificial intelligence, AI, in the music scene. And not just that, but AI bands and musicians are actually charting for the very first time. But anyway, I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Let's backtrack to the 2025 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees. Now, I know a lot of people will say, who cares, right? Like, they're in the Hall of Fame, they're not the Hall of Fame. As long as they impacted my life, or if they're just good musicians overall, who really cares? But I still like it. I like for bands to get recognized for the work that they put in. And the very first band, as you can see on screen, that we're going to talk about is the White Stripes. Jack White and his sister, they formed the White Stripes way back, and it's so cool to see their band kind of get the accolades that they deserve, especially for Megan. It's no question that Jack himself has had an illustrious career that continues. I love that in the introduction ceremony and kind of seeing the tribute song given to them from 21 Pilots. You could see Jack busted out the red suit once again. I can't even tell you the last time that happened. But for Megan, obviously, she had the divorce from Jack White and then kind of just hid from public eye. So kind of cool to see her get recognized as well. Now, again, on the screen, you can see the second big band that was mentioned that got inducted was Soundgarden. I honestly was highly surprised by that because I swear I thought they were already in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It's no doubt, I have said many times throughout the years, my great love and admiration for Chris Cornell, to this day, is still one of my favorite singers of all time, out of any genre. I think he's just absolutely fantastic. And for as long as they were a band and for the huge impact that they had in the music scene, I swear to God, I thought that they were already inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but they were not. Many people, including a lot of tabloids and music historians and so on and so forth, rank Soundgarden as, I would say a lot of them have in their lists, the top 5 biggest grunge bands of all time. So again, highly surprised, but nonetheless, very, very deserving of it. Especially the other members of Soundgarden too. Already losing Chris Cornell was huge, and they had been back and forth for many, many years, even before his death, which also may be the reason of why they weren't inducted already, because they did have a lot of hiatuses throughout the years as well. But good news, they are in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame now. The third kind of big group that was mentioned, again on screen, it's being showed, was OutKast, was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame 2025. Now, of course, I'm probably one of the last people you want to speak to when it comes to hip-hop and rap and the history of it. But, I mean, come on. It's OutKast. Miss Jackson, Hey Ya, and on top of it, between Andre and Big Boy, You know, it's really hard to say no to that induction. You know, and I know a lot of people kind of say like, "Oh, it's the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Why are hip hop and rap bands and techno bands and blah 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 put into the inductees?" I guess you could say, but I don't know. At the same time, I think over the years, you know, rock and roll, of course, was probably the biggest genre that started in our modern day musical history, right? And then it's expanded now to so many different things, to kind of the vast landscape that music is nowadays. I mean, in my eyes, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame eventually will just kind of become the Music Hall of Fame. You know, it's if you did any kind of contribution to the musical world that people seem fit, you will be inducted. OutKast, very well deserving of that induction. Now, this leads to the most interesting thing in the news cycle that has come up. It caught my eye and kind of inspired me to make this video. And then, like I mentioned at the start and in the shorts for this week as well, it's going to be kind of like a second part to this last thing as well. And that is the rise of not just the artist that's pictured right now in artificial intelligence, but it's more so artificial intelligence more and more nowadays is starting to actually land on the album charts and on the streaming charts. You know, they're starting to top them right now. And of course, people, myself included, are feeling very, very uneasy about that. You know, now, of course, there are some people who say, hey, what's the big deal? You know, all it is just something that makes sound and just makes noise and songs and so on and so forth. It shouldn't have to be that big of a deal to have an artist like that. Breaking Rust and Zania Monet are examples of AI artists that are topping the singles charts right now. And it's interesting. You know, country and pop music or hip hop is the areas right now where this is starting to happen. I mean, right now in the country charts, you got two songs that are breaking the top five that are artificial intelligence. Now, some people say it's nothing really to worry, that it's just slop, it's just a fad, and then pretty soon the AI music will be a thing of the past. But some people are worried about where this is leading us for the future, and if this is even being generated in-house from people like Spotify and Apple Music and so forth. But what do you all think about that? I want to hear from you guys and see you guys pretty soon.